Several days ago, more than 1,000 workers protested at a Hi-P International Limited factory in Shanghai after the company decided to lay off workers due to having to relocate. According to China Labor Watch, several workers were injured and others were arrested in confrontations between protesters and police. Later, Hi-P International said in an emailed statement that the demonstration's impact is very minimal, and the company is working with relevant authorities to settle the matter. Now, this isn't the first time workers have held strikes at Hi-P or even in the same location. Thousands of workers previously protested for 10 days in July at the same factory due to sudden layoffs after the company decided to shift more of its production to another city. Hi-P isn't the only foreign company to have this happen to them either. Last month, several thousand workers in at least 5 Chinese cities all staged a coordinated protest against the takeover of Pepsi Company's bottling plants, bringing the subject of labor disputes in foreign companies to the forefront once again. So what do net users think about the disputes, and what reasons do they think are behind the demonstrations? In order to get the answers, let's get across to the newsroom where our researcher Julia Liu is keeping an eye on the discussion. All right, thanks for joining us, Julia. So what are the reactions of the net users to the Shanghai protests? And what do they think of foreign companies in relation to labor as a whole?
Well, I have to say, since it's not a serious case which didn't cause any deaths or severe injuries, many net users aren't too emotional about it. But most of them are showing their pity on the workers who worked for so long to have their rug pulled from under them. Like this post from Yahoo.com. I think these workers must have borne this kind of thing for a long time. Most of them are just hoping to get a proper salary to raise their families, and now that's been taken away. What do you think they'll do? And this poster from Huanqiu.com also shows his support for the workers, saying, they just want what they deserve. I support these poor workers. While this poster, Jinba, doubts the role the labor union plays in this issue, saying, I think with these foreign companies in China, the labor union is more like decoration. It seems that currently, if any labor disputes happen, the labor union cannot do anything to solve the problem, and the workers can only rely on the government to give them some help. It's too sad. And in this poster's opinion, the foreign company could do more, saying, it's okay for the company to shift their production to another city, but the company should discuss it with the workers first. After all, the workers' legitimate interests are affected by their behavior.
Okay, Julia, now earlier I said that last month workers from Pepsi also staged a protest. And according to what I found earlier in May, a similar protest took place at a Honda plant in Guangzhou. So what are the reasons behind these demonstrations?
Well, from what I found on the internet, I think net users have given quite a few answers to this question. First, this poster from Yi.com mentions one perception of Chinese labor. I think in the opinion of many foreign companies, Chinese labor is too cheap. So in many foreign companies, the income gap between foreign workers and Chinese workers is really huge, which not only affects the treatment of the workers, but also their pride is challenged. And this is obviously one main reason for these disputes. And Qiu Wencai, a professor from Shanghai Cambridge College, also believes the government and labor union should bear some of the blame, saying, when talking with companies, the workers always belong to the disadvantaged group. Since the local government cares more about the GDP and wants to attract more foreign investment, the workers' interests are easily ignored. And since many labor unions can't play their role well in such disputes, it's hard for the workers to find other useful way to protect their rights. However, this poster from Sina.com thinks the situation in China is not as good as before because of the economic environment. To be honest, in recent years, the pressure of the foreign companies, especially the manufacturing industries, have become bigger than before. On the one hand, they have to face the rising labor costs, while on the other hand, they have to face the fact that many companies have been forced to close because of bad performances on the market.
Okay, Julia, so are there any suggestions to these foreign companies in China or some others who still want to try and set up shop here? After all, having these kind of labor disputes would be bad for business.
Yes, of course. Since many net users think a lower salary won't help create a good business environment, instead causing several problems, such as a lacking of responsibility or having to go low tech. So some net users think foreign companies should change their attitude first. To this poster, Li Xiuyuan, relevant laws are necessary. Since such an issue isn't rare, I think the government should set up relevant laws as soon as possible and set some clear regulations on labor disputes. If the company's behavior really damages the workers' interests, they should be punished. And finally, this poster, Xiaohu from Sohu.com, still believes the labor union should do more, saying, if we have a formal labor union system, then this kind of thing will be solved through negotiation instead of fierce confrontations.
Well, I'm sure as more and more foreign companies try to make their homes here in China, this type of thing will start to come up more and more. Thanks, Julia. And that was China Take researcher Julia Liu with reaction to all workers around the world being treated the same. Coming up next, China's top searches, what's hot and trending on China's search engines.